Join me as I dive into the best lifting routine for beginners. As beginners, we quit lifting after a few weeks or months because the routine is not sustainable, enjoyable, or effective. I'm Coach Suze, a personal trainer, fitness educator, and coach, and the topic we're learning about today is the ideal lifting routine for beginners. Whether you're just starting on your fitness journey or you've done it on and off in the past, these basic principles of a beginner lifting routine can be applied to both. The problem we all face when beginning a lifting routine is understanding what exercises are best and then putting together a routine we can do consistently. In order to build an ideal routine as a beginner, we want to have a basic understanding of movements our body is designed to do well. We want to do exercises we feel like we are good at. And this can be broken down into 5 different patterns: squatting, lunging, pushing, pulling, and hinging or bending over. These movements come in easier and harder versions, aka regressions and progressions, and building a successful beginner lifting routine means giving yourself the easiest variation first. When I began lifting, I jumped to harder exercises before doing these ones first, and I paid for it later with injuries. So let's learn exactly what the most regressed version of each movement is so you can plan for success, results, and consistency. The squat movement begins with a seated bodyweight squat. The squat is a quad dominant exercise or knee dominant, so doing it seated is a great way to get your body used to squatting without risking a hip, knee, or ankle injury. Once you can do the seated squat comfortably with no pain and your repetitions are all around the same speed, try making the target or box a little bit lower. Continue making your target lower with the goal of squatting down far enough that the crease of your hip is below the knee while keeping the torso upright. Once you can squat all the way down pain-free, then you can add load by holding a kettlebell or dumbbell. The lunging movement pattern begins with a split squat with the support of a rod, ledge, or anything to help you get up and down. From there, you can progress to a reverse lunge with assistance, and then a bodyweight split squat with no assistance. Pushing is next up, and pushing is important because a lot of beginners will have shoulders that are stuck in a rounded forward position. And so the muscles in our chest are tight and weakened. Learning how to properly push can help loosen and strengthen that tissue in our chest. And when combined with a proper pulling routine, we can build a really strong, resilient upper body. Pushing begins with some sort of flat or incline machine chest press, ideally with handles that allow the grip to be with the thumbs up and the elbows closer to the body. This machine I'm doing here is great because you can adjust the handles and the seat, and it provides a lot of support. From there, you can progress to an elevated push-up using a squat rack or box, and once that becomes comfortable and familiar, you can try a landmine overhead press. Before I go into pull exercises, I want to encourage you to plan for doing a few more pulling exercises than pushing exercises in the first couple of months of your lifting routine to give the shoulders a chance to get stable and strong being back, which is a position a lot of us struggle to get into, especially with a lifestyle where we sit and drive a lot. First up in pulling is the machine seated row. When we are learning how to move our shoulders, we want to have as much support as possible. So I really like machines that support the body like this one and that allow for a thumbs up grip so the elbows can stay close to the body. From there, we can progress to a seated cable row with the cable set just above shoulder height and then a single arm or 2-arm pull down from a kneeling position. Knee pain is common in this position, so you can use a cushion on that back knee. In all pulling exercises, we're choosing a thumb up or underhand grip to encourage the muscles in our back to activate more, which can be hard at first because most of us, myself included, have a lifestyle of a lot of sitting. So the back muscles don't get a lot of activation. Last but definitely not least, the hinge pattern or bending over pattern begins with a kettlebell deadlift from blocks. The hinge pattern is often the pattern that takes the longest to learn because it's kind of an awkward pattern to move through and it requires us to use muscles we aren't used to using. So it might take some time. So by having a target similar to the seated squat, we are getting some support, which helps us focus on hinging at the hip instead of rounding at the spine. The next progression is a kettlebell deadlift from the floor, and the next progression after that is a landmine deadlift. The best routine is a little bit different for everyone in that we all have different levels of readiness for each of these regressions and progressions, but the same in that we all benefit from including these 5 movement patterns. The best way to start is to pick the easiest or most regressed of each pattern and plan to do 2 to 3 days a week of 1 to 2 sets of 12 to 20 reps of each in the first few weeks, and then gradually increase sets, decrease reps, or increase weight. Then move to the next progression. So start easy, then more sets, then fewer reps, then more weights, then the next progression. So the ideal beginner lifting routine is one you can stick to and do safely. An example of a workout when you first start would look like this. Thank you for following along. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with implementing these principles into your lifting routine. Click the link in the description for my free cookbook with recipes that complement a beginner lifting routine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tips on nutrition, fitness, and healthy living. As always, remember that your journey is unique and it's entirely within your power to cultivate a healthy, joyful life. See you next time, and happy training.